Okay, so let's get into this one. At first glance, you're looking at what seems like a really simple Italian taxi service. But trust me, you don't want to just skim the surface here. This website, it's got a pretty huge secret hiding right out in the open.
All right, just imagine this for a second. You've just landed in Milan, maybe at Malpensa or Linate. You're wiped, you're dragging your luggage, and honestly, the last thing you want to do is try to decode a new bus schedule or get into a back and forth over a ride. You just want a taxi. Simple as that.
And what's the first thing we all do, right? You're fumbling for your phone, hunting for decent Wi-Fi, and then, you're downloading another one of those single-use ride apps. You know the ones. You use it for one trip, and it just sits there taking up space. It's a pain we all know way too well. Well, this service says, nope, forget all that.
So here's the plan. We're going to start with their pretty clever app pre-set up and, how you actually book a ride. Then we'll check out what else they offer. And then we get to the really juicy part, their massive vision for an AI-powered future and how they're looking for people to help make it happen.
All right, first things first. Let's tackle the immediate problem this company is solving. How to get a cab without all that digital headache.
So what is it? At its heart, 025353.it is just a web platform. Super simple. It's not an app, it's a website. That's the key. You can use it to call or, book a taxi ahead of time anywhere in Italy, just straight from your phone's browser.
And really, its biggest selling point is just how simple it is. There's nothing to download, no long, boring registration forms asking for your life story. The whole idea is you just add it to your bookmarks. That's it. It's built to be as easy and frictionless as possible, whether you're a tourist or a local.
Okay, so how easy is it really? Let's just quickly walk through how you book a ride. They boiled it down to 4 super simple steps. And the process is, well, it's exactly what you'd hope for. No fluff, it's just the absolute basics. You pop in where you are, where you're headed, how many of you there are, and what time you need the car. Done. Seriously, that's it.
But, this isn't just about grabbing a regular taxi. They've actually built out a whole range of services, which frankly adds a lot of credibility to their whole operation.
So on top of standard taxis, they also offer something called NCC, which is basically a pre-booked luxury car service, perfect for business trips. And get this, if you're in the Lombardy region, they even do roadside assistance. So right away you can see they're not just a one-trick pony, they're aiming to be a full-on transport solution.
And they're smart about where they operate. They have a huge presence at all the key hubs around Milan. The 3 big airports, the main train station, the big exhibition center, exactly where you'd need them most. It shows they really get the traveler's mindset. So let's wrap up this first half of the story. On the surface, 025353.it is this beautifully simple, fast, and reliable way to get around one of Italy's busiest areas. It's practical, it's easy to use, and it just works. But if that was the whole story, this would be a pretty quick rundown, right? This is where things get really interesting. That simple little taxi website, it's basically a front for a much, much bigger ambition.
Yeah, that simple service is actually laying the groundwork for a vision that's all about the future of transportation. And that future, it's all powered by artificial intelligence.
I mean, listen to this quote from their own materials. Their mission isn't just booking taxis, it's to revolutionize the industry. They want to use technology to completely change the passenger experience. That's a pretty bold claim for a company whose main interface is a simple web form.
So here's the big reveal. Their ultimate goal is to build a next-generation taxi call center. Not just any call center, but one that runs on AI and machine learning to optimize literally everything. Dispatch, routing, customer service, even pricing. The website you see today, that's just step 1. It's the front door to a much deeper tech operation.
Of course, a vision that big, well, it needs some serious backing. And that brings us to the final piece of this puzzle. They're out there looking for partners to help them build this thing. And they're really clear about the deal. They're offering a seat at the table, a strategic partnership, access to this growing market, all backed by their expert team. But in return, they're not just looking for a blank check. They want investors who have experience, who are ready to commit financially to development, and, this is key, who share that same long-term vision. They're even super transparent about where the investment would go. It's all targeted at 3 main areas. First, developing their own AI tech. Second, building out the call center infrastructure, both physical and digital. And third, hiring the right people to make it all work. So think about that journey. We went from a handy browser bookmark for a tourist to a full-on pitch for a high-tech, AI-driven transport network. It's this really fascinating double life. One part is a simple, practical service for today, and the other is this huge leap into the future. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. The next time you call for a ride, whether it's on an app or a simple website, it's worth wondering what's really happening behind the scenes. Because with companies like this one, that simple ride you're taking today might just be laying the tracks for a total AI revolution in how we get around tomorrow.